Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight, we continue the saga of Joey Fucknuts with Joey Fucknuts Believes in Himself. Guys, I really love this fucking series.
Yeah.
Joey Fucknuts and SCP-3885, from which he spawned from, is by CadaverCommander on scp.wiki. Honestly, go check it out, and we'll wait. And while they're gone, we'll do the rundown.
But then we're gonna have to catch them up when they return.
But they can listen to it. They can rewind back and listen to it. All right,
no, that's not possible.
Yeah, no.
Please.
Yes. So Joey Fucknuts, or Joey Steelwing, is traveling the skies in his plane. He comes across those enigmatic clouds, and when he passes through them harmlessly, there was a tense moment prior where Joey wasn't sure what was going to happen when he made contact with those strange fluffy things in the sky. But upon harmlessly entering a cloud and realizing that he is inside of it, he begins taking notes about them furiously. Then some time passes, and Joey sees a forest down on the ground and decides to land. Again, a tense moment ensues since Joey has never landed before. But he happens to make it, and he wants to see these trees up close. He marvels at their craftsmanship because someone had to have made them. Right? How else did they get here?
And all the wood where he's from is all made by someone.
Exactly. It makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Later that night, still on the ground, Joey is relaxing and listening to the forest sounds when he hears a disruptive series of booms. He grabs a flamethrower axe, of course,
as one does,
and goes to investigate. Out of the trees and into the clearing is this massive yet barely perceptible beast. Joey attempts to introduce himself and tries to get this thing to stop trampling on these fine works of wood art, the trees. But the creature has no interest in doing so. However, it does seem interested in attacking Joey. A fight ensues, and Joey, even with flamethrower axe in hand, gets wiped around several times by this eldritch creature, half in our world and half not. As it seems unaffected by any of his attacks, like gouts of flame, nah. An axe, nah. As Joey is battered and nearly beaten to a pulp, for the first time feeling true pain since his first death, something ignites in Joey, and he lays a fiery smackdown on this creature's snout as it charges its last strike upon him. There is an intense and short explosion, and a crater is left, with a charred husk of Joey walking back to his plane before falling short and limp of his destination. Is this the end? Well, it is for this story. Yeah, I think that encapsulates the story that we all read.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm just gonna go down to this next part of my notes here. Everyone tolerates the grammar inquisitions at this point, and I have a couple because, unfortunately, no Joey Fucknut story is perfect when it comes to grammar, at least.
Did the first one have any?
The first one did not have any. I don't think we actually had any issue with the first story.
Yeah.
But the longer they get, the more issues there's going to be. But I mean, CadaverCommander, I assume, is only human after all, so I won't put the blame on them.
No, I mean, some people got some real problems.
Mm-hmm. Some people out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember what the lyrics were.
I wonder why you were delaying. I thought you were just moving on.
I was like, some people get some real problems. Anyway, so yeah, here I'm just gonna go with this one here. Hours later, Joey is staring not at clouds, but at a tree. He had only ever seen trees in pictures before. That was how he knew they were called trees. So, okay, so this happens So we just previously were having him like taking notes and stuff. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but with the previous story, with a dream sequence using the past and present tense to like transition between the two very different scenes or sequences, and it works. In this story, it doesn't really make much sense to have a past tense and present tense switch. So, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. I didn't notice the switch of that.
Yeah, no, I tend to latch onto them.
Yeah.
When it pops up.
You're a tense individual.
Yes, I'm very tense. I'm full of but yeah, I'm full of anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Full of tense. So yeah, that's my biggest issue here is just like that one sentence, like even though it's kind of a transitory line to go to a new scene, a new location, it doesn't make any sense for it to be present tense when the rest of the story is past tense. So, and then my next one here, he spiraled through the torture. He prayed that it would be over soon, that it would stop, that he would be torn and half and that he would be torn and half and die, so he wouldn't have to feel himself anymore. So I think it's like that he would be torn in half, not and half.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's a simple. It's really just a simple typo. That's my guess. And that's my grammar position. So, Mikey, these stands for evil.
I have a conjunction junction.
And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
It was so beautiful. But then there were the clouds. It was time to learn. But it was getting bigger. It wasn't changing its shape, and it wasn't moving, but it was rapidly becoming huge. And it had brought friends, and none of them were moving. It was just a wall of white. It was all white. And then the cloud was all around him. So he gave up and simply stared at one, trying to figure out what it was made of. It must have taken a very, very long time. So he flew around for a little while until he had found a wide clearing, then touched down in the grass while gritting his teeth and hoping that the fat tires he'd put on the landing gear would hold up against all the tangly grass. And he had no idea where he was. It was very kind of someone, whoever they were, put all these carvings out here. It was time to celebrate. It was very pretty. It was possible, he guessed, that he was the first person to ever come here. But it didn't sound afraid or panicked. It was a rhythmic, happy sound. It wasn't very metal, but he liked it anyway. It was a rhythm. It felt wrong, and powerfully. And it was there, and it was big. But he still couldn't see it. It resisted his glare like water sliding off a waxed windshield. But no details. It was a beast made out of wind and whispers that faded and danced just out of sight like the shadow of a candle flame. And it was ruining the trees. It was disrespectful. Its head, the size of a car, was aimed directly toward him. It split. It walked forward, only barely there, almost impossible to truly see. But its footfalls were real. Its growl was real. And Joey had a feeling that its teeth were real too. It was very close now. It loomed over him. It was as high as a building. It was so close. It came closer, but it didn't stop. It swiped a long, shadowy leg with the speed of thunder, and it crashed into Joey like a hurricane made solid. It was coming after him. Its jaws clamped over his head and shoulders, and with its leg pinning him to the ground, it pulled. But it didn't give. But he did not die, and he did not tear. And he would not see his friends ever again. And because of that, his family would be left in the dark forever. But they would forget him. And he remembered what he was supposed to do, his sacred purpose. The reason had been placed upon this strange and beautiful world. And Joey was mad. Joey Steelwings made himself real. And then it was gone. And Joey was still. Finn.
Wow, that got like. So first off, my thing of your iteration with the conjunction junction here. So the clouds hunted him. Like after he passed through the clouds initially, it hunted him down to the ground.
Pretty much.
And then it got really dark and sad at the end.
Then, like midway through, when you're like, he's talking about the carvings of the trees, and then he goes like, this is actually a fault of the story. I just realized. He mentions like all these carvings. Someone put so much time into this, and then a couple lines later, he says like, this area I've been in, it's possible I'm the first person to ever be here. If he's the first person to be there, who would have put the carvings there?
I mean that's possibly just like Joey's like naivete and ignorant logic going. Like
I don't know, because he's like,
yeah,
he immediately goes back to, hey, someone took all the time putting these things here, Mr. Beastman. Don't attack them.
I feel like there should have been okay, so like quick grammar inquisition thing, or maybe this is a natural thought, but whatever. Maybe like having brackets after, like right after, is like I might be the first person here, except for the craftsman, of course, who made all these trees.
Yeah.
Like that would have been like solved it much better, I think.
Yeah, like, or aside from the craftsman, I may be the only other person who's been here.
Yeah, exactly. That would work.
Something,
too.
yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, no, that was that conjunction junction. Damn, that's like most of the story.
There's a lot of its, ands, and buts there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who aren't aware, Mikey does that to showcase all the sentences that start with its, ands, or buts, because generally you shouldn't start sentences with those, because there's always better words. They're meant to be joining words and stuff like that, not starting sentences.
Yes, thank you for telling the audience and not, me.
Yeah, I have to remind you all.
Because I totes know what we're doing at the time. I totally don't forget why we do it.
Every time.
Hey man, I'm only human. I'm just a human cultist.
Yeah, I won't put the blame on you. It's fine.
Man, why do we keep going back to that song?
We're throwing a lot of blame around, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. So is that all you got there, Mikey?
Yeah.
All right. Then I guess we're on to Gamer.
Joey Fucknuts, known to his friends and loved ones as Joey Steelwings, stared at the cockpit window of the airplane he had built with his own two fists. So first off, I love the wording of he built it with his own two fists.
Yeah.
Secondly, the way it's worded, it sounded like everyone always called him Joey Steelwings, but he just got the name.
Yeah, it's just like, or as his friends call him now.
Yeah, like Joey Fucknuts, now known to his friends and loved ones as Joey Steelwings. Or you can do Joey Fucknuts, known to his friends and loved ones now as Joey Steelwings.
Yeah.
There needs to be some nowage in there.
Yeah, because he was not always Joey Steelwings. He was.
No.
Yeah.
He did not know who had come out here and carved all these trees out of wood. This is not related to what I said earlier. Or,
I was going to say, wait, are you really just about to repeat it?
No, that thing I brought up earlier is something I didn't realize. Either way, or even where they had gotten that wood, but he greatly admired their work ethic. It was take a very, very long time. Landing had been a strange experience. So I think landing should have been put up front of this section, in front of all this tree stuff, because it'd be like hours later, Joey saw out the window, not clouds, but trees all over the place. He had only ever seen trees in pictures before.
Fuck,
and
you're right.
And that was how he knew they were called trees. Joey decided he had to land to get a better look at them, and then go into the landing thing, and then have him admire them and be like, "Oh, they're made out of wood. Weird."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like from a distance, yeah. Sorry, because like from a distance, like up high in the sky, like the trees, like you need to get a better look because like you wouldn't know what like I just think like, there's carpet on the ground.
There's a bunch of green shit. What the hell's that? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But he has like laser visions, like scanning, made of wood.
Well, I mean, clearly he has because he's a ghoul. He no longer has the function of his eyes, so he has cyber eyes that allow him to see like really close, like really far away. He's got like binocular like vision.
Yeah, he's got like 50 times zoom on his eyes. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. We'll get into that later.
Regardless, I think he should have landed.
Yeah, no, I think landing. Yeah, like landing definitely should have been put higher up, like before some of these paragraphs about the wood and like the craftsmanship. I agree.
Yeah,
with
it's getting a little bit of whiplash because he's like flying around, and all of a sudden he teleports down. It's like touching a tree, then back in the sky, a better land.
Yeah,
it's very weird. He had like an out of body experience to examine the tree.
Yeah, he astrally projected.
Yeah.
And went down to the exactly. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
So we're getting ahead of ourselves on that.
A little bit, yeah. Either way, moving on.
Yeah.
Then a little bit later on, when he lands, he explains, so he explains that he thinks the trees are carved by someone, and then he like lands and everything, and then he goes up to the trees and says, "These trees were nice, though. It was very kind of someone, whoever they were, to put all these carvings here." So he's kind of just saying the same thing he said already, because he already said that they were carvings by someone. Then he lands and says that these are carvings by someone.
Yeah.
So, like, because the whole start of this section is kind of rough, maybe just remove the first mention of them being wood and just add the carvings and wood line into this second line. Because this is when he would actually be noticing that anyways. And that's all I got for Grammar in Yellow for this one.
All right. Yeah, no, honestly, like, I 100% like agree. Like, now that you point that out, I was like, God damn it. Yeah, that yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's a rough landing.
You're a tense person, and for me, it's like, transitions, if they're not done right, I get like whiplash, like whoa.
Honestly, I'm looking at the transition like of this page. I like there is kind of a transition line with that image. So like we get an image of of like his notes, and then we get like a small bar. Because like if you notice at the top we have a banner of like an image of clouds, and then the next time we have a banner similar to that cloud banner at the top, we have a banner of trees. And then it's as if it's a different. That's probably in the formatting. That's probably what the author's using as a separation between scenes.
So, but then why have the whole landing experience? Like he's thinking back. Oh, okay, hang on. So maybe that's why this is current, because it's like he was flying in the sky, not taking notes, specific notes like this, and then he lands. And then starts writing the notes from previous. Although this whole thing isn't meant to be a journal, though.
No, it's not. It's just he's taking notes and some of that. Like just like that's what his character's doing in the scene. But yeah, and then it's just kind of abrupt how like he went from like taking notes on the clouds, and then it just like we just kind of fade to black, and then cut back to hours later. Joey is not staring at. It really just should be like hours later. Joey was staring not at clouds, but at a tree. That's what it should have been. Not is. That's my biggest issue with that, with the past and present tense situation there.
I still think there should be a transition more than just a picture.
Or even
Because
God,
the transition
yes.
happens through him thinking about the strange experience of landing. So instead of just having that thinking back, that could just be in the same thought process, like as it flows, like you're experiencing it as he's experiencing it, instead of jumping back and forth.
Yeah,
To, like
like
flashbacks
no,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah, I agree. Like maybe even like landing hadn't like, so we get to like the note part, like the cloud part, and then we cut to the tree banner, and then it's like landing had been a strange experience, and then like hours later, Joey was staring not at clouds but at a tree. It's like,
Yeah, there just has to be something saying that he landed.
yeah,
Both of our points are valid. There needs to be a transition from flying to landing, and there needs to be some. It needs to be in the same tense. I can't think of the right word.
yeah,
But yes.
yeah. It needs to be like everything else is past tense, so it probably should just remain past tense.
Yes.
So, all right. So that's Grammar Inquisition. Like the formatting otherwise is pretty solid. Just there's that one transitionary issue. So I guess we shall move on to actual thoughts. So get ready for me to read a couple of paragraphs. Because okay. Once he had released his somewhat terrified grip on the controls and was confident the autopilot was not going to immediately reunite him with the ground in a spectacular and impactful way, he had simply stared, struck numb. Okay, I think maybe it should be quick grammar inquisition. I think it should be struck dumb, but all right.
I think it's dumb struck.
Yeah, but I mean,
term.
struck numb also works because he's like in such awe that he's like his entire body's numb. I could get that. But anyways, continue. Then he cried for about an hour, not sure if he was supposed to be allowed to feel such powerful happiness and awe. Then he got distracted trying to figure out whether he had actually died in an attempt, or in the attempt, and this was just what happened after someone died. Then he decided that he was probably still alive and cried some more, unable to entirely accept that of all the people, he was the one that got to have this life. To which I say, "Oh, Joey, like go Joe E."
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it! I love this character so
Superpower
much.
is lack of self-confidence.
Yeah, like
And also fire punches.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We haven't even got there yet. Hang on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, moving on to the next thing. Joey got out his spiral notebook and pen and narrowed his eyes at the white things in the middle distance. Wow, we're actually getting some like genuine character development right here. Like, he is now capable of once again utilizing a pen. Because if you remember in the first story, he recalled pens and pencils in his past life, but didn't remember how to use them.
Oh, right. When the hell did that happen?
Yeah, right?
Plot hole.
Maybe a plot hole, or maybe just, or yeah, character development or plot hole. You decide, audience.
Yeah.
And then regarding the notepad image that we have, like of him like taking notes on the cloud and stuff like that. So from the first story, I mentioned that the only addition I would have added to improve the formatting and setup of that story, like, you know how like we have like the big blocky red letters and stuff like that, was to have an image of the writing on a wall behind Vulture Vic's diner, like Photoshop, like him, like smeared black writing on a wall sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this right here, this with the photo of the notepad where we get to actually see what he wrote in an actual notebook, this is what I meant, and I love it. Like, this perfectly encapsulates a strong use of imagery in a written story to enhance the narrative. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, like this is what you do. This is how you use an image in a written format. So
I like that he opened up the plane and stuck his hand out while he's flying to touch the clouds.
Yeah, he's like holding on. It's like like holding on to dear life, just to like be able to touch the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is in regards to like his comments about the trees themselves. So strangely, they appeared to be made out of wood, of all things. This astonished Joey. He did not know who had come out here and carved all these trees out of wood, or even where they had gotten all that wood. But he greatly admired their work ethic. It must have taken a very, very long time. And I just love this continued like mentality that Joey and his kin have. It's just like, what came first, the tree or the wood conundrum that Joey has here? Because it really it's simply honest misunderstanding of some relearning of the world after they were reanimated. Like trying to figure things out again. It's not stupidity so much as it is just naivete. And again, like I really appreciate, like I really like how we've gotten that throughout these stories, like of these like these zombies are having to relearn the world. They're not just simply dumb zombies.
Yeah, and they're starting at this weird point where they have intelligence and they know a lot of things about like making cars and shit, but they don't even know the basics of like
like they have like
came from.
They have a focused set of knowledge or a particular set of skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm just picturing a Liam Neeson zombie in Vulture Gulch. It's just like, I know you have Joey. I will hunt you, and I will kill you.
Accurate.
Anyway, moving on. Joey put his smokes out and went into the hangar. He picked up one of his flamethrower axes from the rack, as long as he was tall, and checked his fuel canister. Checked its edge. He hefted its great weight over his shoulders and stepped out onto the grass, looking, scanning. Boom. Boy, so reading this section with like the booms that are disrupting like the nature and stuff like that, because I mean that's clearly what the rhythm sound is. It's right, like that's what. Did everybody else get that? That it was like basically just the night nature sounds.
Yeah.
That he was listening to? Okay, yeah. It would be really funny right here if it had just been a couple of hunters out in the woods scaring the local wildlife, and then old Joey just comes out of the brush with his flamethrower axe to say hello.
Yeah, you know what I thought it was going to be?
What?
When it was saying like it's moving and knocking down trees on its way out, I thought it was going to be some people like clear cutting the forest, and then Joey was going to show up and scare the shit out of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like have like.
Then I realized like this is the middle of the night, so they're not going to be cutting down trees in the middle of the night.
You say that. I think there are operations at night. There'd probably be more hints of like that. Like there'd be like giant spotlights or something like that, or some kind of like it's like the sun's in a wrong direction. Joey could tell. Like it's because of how bright. Like there's a glow like behind the trees.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, or I was also thinking it's like, oh no, the Foundation's hunting like brought in the tanks.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was another thought process anyway. But then we get, this.
Actually, before we move on, okay. I forgot to mention this. When he was describing the flamethrower, where it's like, it's as long as he's tall and he's checking the fuel canister on the edge. I'm like, well, now I know what the next Firebug weapon should be in Killing Floor 2. It'd be cross-class with Berserker.
Oh my god, you're right.
Right?
God damn it.
There's so many weapons in Killing Floor 2 that are amalgams like that. Where there's like a sledgehammer that has like a breaching shotgun shell installed in the head. So when you hit with the one side, it just goes off.
Yeah.
Or like a caulking gun that's turned into a flamethrower.
God damn it. Yeah. All right, so moving on to the next part here. The tree wall bowed, and something huge entered the grassy space under the dark starry sky. All right, so something huge in there is a link to SCP-1763, or at least a document, like a series of documents pertaining to SCP-1763. So SCP-1763 is this bizarre mammalian predatory beast of immense size, capable of concealing itself from the perceived reality of humans using an anomalous ability it developed over time. At one point, it was contained by the Foundation, but is now considered fictional by them. It appears, and that's because it appears to have compromised the Foundation, as such entities want to do. we're doing good work here.
Oh, really?
Hmm?
So it got in their heads and made them. It convinced them that it didn't exist anymore, so it could just
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, based on the documents, it like each document it takes place like several years, they're kind of like addendums or like different iterations of the same document, but they are slightly different and they take place over several years. And yeah, the basically like it goes from like being contained at this site to suddenly that site just not being on file anymore, and now it's just kind of roaming, has its own like territory of woods around that facility, because the Foundation thinks it's a joke, or like this is nothing because they've been contaminated by its mimetic virus.
That's key.
Or it's So the document. Getting to that, where the document, like we get a link to, and as you read it, it's like a spiral of contamination of the mimetic creature, and showing how that effect can have on the Foundation and its reporting files and bureaucracy, and it really just goes to show how screwed the Foundation is with all their procedures, along with the rest of us humans, in the face of such threats. Like even they can fuck up with all their preparation.
For sure. Does it show in the notes that like anything they came up with previously later on in the notes is like, well, we found out that what we thought before wasn't true because of this, that, and the other. Like it's covering its own ass.
So the way it does it in the document is it copies the document, and then there's a bunch of blue text for you to know what's different or what's changed over the course of it, and it gets more and more like defined for a few entries, and then like the last few entries, it's like this is complete work of fiction. The Foundation discovered this on somebody's personal computer that doesn't even exist in our files. like the person who wrote the reports and stuff was completely extinguished from reality. By the end, and the Foundation thinks that it's like it's some kind of a prank.
So they're saying it's not even the official files, even though it was official files.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, like I just and now like after all that's said and done, this Joey has just stumbled upon the territory of this creature in the woods. Because over the course of those documents, you find out that basically the site it was contained at got breached by it because of because of its powers, and it just basically created a sphere of influence where it was able to like basically just roam around like a certain territory in the woods. So yeah, now Joey's caught in the mix, and I love to see SCP entities mingling in stories. Like we saw it kind of in the previous story where the two lizard creatures intercepted Joey's dream when another entity was basically like about to taint and poison Joey or mentally.
Yeah.
And again, like it's because you got all these assets to pull from in the SCP Foundation. Like I love to see that creative play space in action, and that's what we're getting here.
Yeah, like all the cross contamination of all these creatures, like they're all in the same world, and this is a story that actually embraces that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we're actually seeing like an ecosystem sort of evolve here.
It should be noted that we're talking about SCP-1763-X.
Yes, EX. You mean?
Yeah, EX. Because SCP-1763 is something completely different.
Right, because this 1763 is no longer valid, or 1763-EX is no longer valid because the Foundation considers it a prank.
Yeah.
Right. I apologize. Yes.
That's a good note to make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But actually, moving on to the interaction between Joey and this thing, it resisted his glare like water sliding off of a waxed windshield, a shifting, twisted shape, only barely there, hulking, massive, a hint of a long head, a snout, the suggestion of 4 legs, the insinuation of a tail, but no details, nothing that his eyes could firmly grasp. It was a beast made out of wind and whispers that faded and danced just out of sight like the shadow of a candle flame. I I wasn't expecting some SCP on SCP action here. Like in this story, like I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but like I was thinking it was just going to be Joey. He's just going to bump and fumble into the mundane world and scare the hell out of some civvies.
Yeah.
But just how is this just how this is going with Joey with a flamethrower axe in hand and an immense Dark Souls monster on the other side of the clearing.
You're not wrong.
Fuck yeah, metal horns in hand. like this is metal as hell. And then you get this part, which kind of removes some of the metalness, but is also just really funny, and it could be metal as hell regardless. Anyway, there was a growl. Joey stopped walking. The earth beneath his boots rumbled with the force of the thing's voice. There were no words, just intent. Its head, the size of a car, was aimed directly toward him. It split. There was a long glint, something, or a lot of sharp somethings, shone in the starlight. It walked forward, only barely there, almost impossible to truly see. But its footfalls were real. Its growl was real. And Joey had a feeling that its teeth were real too. And then Joey starts talking. You don't have to get angry. I'm not angry. Everything's okay. And then to which I respond, ma'am, please, just calm down.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also, I don't know why, but like as based on the interaction that Joey's having with this creature, like this intro bit, I kept thinking back on like our idea for like a slice of life game with like ghouls or goblin critters, like those from Vulture Gulch, and I'd probably take inspiration from Letterkenny to a degree. Because this just kind of feels like a Letterkenny kind of dialogue. And to anybody who doesn't know, Letterkenny is a Canadian sitcom about small town living in Ontario, and a lot of the dialogue is very much like just super mellow and chill, but with like certain ridiculousnesses added in for like comedic effect. And yeah, it's just like, ma'am, you don't have to get angry. I'm not angry. Everything's okay here. like he's just trying to like alleviate the situation before he goes into the fight.
Freaking Dark Souls boss.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I would love to see that. Like that also kind of sounds like somebody in a D&D game about to go up against like a dire boar or like an eldritch horror, like an aboleth or something. And like it's about to we're about to enter combat, and then the bard or like somebody who has a high charisma just like, I roll persuade. to try and alleviate the situation here. And then we
20.
get
okay, well,
yeah, or like 50 is like, you didn't quite make it. It's still approaching you. It's like, ma'am. I do not want to engage in combat right now. I'm only level 4. You're a level 10 dire boar. Also, for some reason, I kept envisioning this thing as like a boar, like the boar god from Princess Mononoke, even though it does keep changing its form occasionally, or like based on the descriptors that we do get.
Yeah, I didn't get a clear visual of it until like almost the damn end of it, where it straight up says it's a wolf.
Yeah, but no, it's not a wolf. It's just acting like a wolf, and that's the thing. This thing is meant to be anomalous because it is this weird thing between our reality and something else. So like it actually, like the way it's described in this perfectly describes how like Lovecraft does like eldritch horrors and like indescribable things. It's like it's a half thing or like a half not thing.
Yeah.
And then we get to probably my favorite segment of this entire thing.
We're ready to do Grammar Inquisition.
Yeah. Something happened deep inside the small, stupid mare. Something became real. A realization, a wave of something undeniable. The pain became meaningless. His breaking body became a triviality. His spilled blood unfurled upon the ground as a banner, something declarative. His mind snapped back into place. He felt the love he had for his friends as a rushing river of molten steel. Coursing through his dead flesh, He remembered himself, and he remembered what he was supposed to do, his sacred purpose. The reason he had been placed upon this strange and beautiful world. I will bring them the light, plus ultra! Sorry, had to get that Hero Academia or My Hero Academia reference in with the plus ultra.
Okay. I don't know what that is, but that's cool.
Yeah, like, but like, goddamn, if this hasn't just gone full blown anime. Like, Joey went Super Saiyan. His drill is the one that will pierce the heavens. Plus ultra.
Yeah.
Like, and that's also the scary part about this story to a degree as well. Like, even though it's like kind of full blown like action anime kind of thing, like, we get a glimpse of the true form and intent of these desert car zombies. Hi, Brownie. Sorry. He was the one that referenced like to me earlier this week about his love for the desert car zombies when he listened to our SCP 3885 episode.
Hell yeah. Give it a listen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, like, just fuck. We're screwed if they ever realize their full potential. Like,
they weren't such bros and cool.
Exactly. Like, if they ever go evil, we're screwed. It's like Superman.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we get this part here. Like, after all the dust and the crater, like, after all the dust is settled and we get that crater, we get this. He tottered unsteadily toward his airplane, but didn't make it. He fell to the ground just before the bomb bay door, smoke curling from his burnt clothes and skin, and Joey was still. No, Joey, did he just expend his inner flame? Was that what was animating him, and he just used it all against that attack against the Eldritch Abomination?
Oh shit, I didn't think about it
like,
that way.
That's what I was kind of thinking, and it's like, also, I mean, I know we have another story. Spoilies. But still, like, imagine, because like the first, like, I like looking at looking at CadaverCommander's Mobile Assault Necropolis, which is effectively their bibliography of SCP entries, and like shows you like when they were created and when they were last edited. So
it's also the most metal name for a fucking amalgamation of stories and shit.
Let me just read you a little like blurb he does it. So CadaverCommander's Mobile Assault Necropolis. Greetings, future recruits. Hi, I'm CadaverCommander. I write stuff. I don't have a lot to say about me. If you want to find other things I did, you can find them down there. If for some reason you have questions about the horrible things I've done, you can put them on the discussion page here, and I'll answer with the speed and grace of the mighty water buffalo. And it keeps going on and on and on.
Nice.
And yeah, so basically it's their user page, effectively, but also their bibliography. But yeah, so under Joey Fucknuts Believes in Himself, it was first written or created the 25th of May, 2018. And then the next story we got, Joey Makes a New Friend, is the 5th of March, 2019. So again, like, so these didn't come out all at the same time. So like, imagine reading the end of the story. It's like, no, Joey.
Yeah, that'd be sad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and also this. I had to leave this till the end because like there's things that are mentioned in the story like that came up when I was reading it. Like, I know that we don't see the creature after the blast; we just get that crater. But it is something that lingers between our reality and another. What if the friend in the next story, Joey Fucknuts Makes a Friend, turns out to be this creature now that it has been calmed down by Joey's argument? I do in quotes.
Wow.
Like, I kind of got that inkling earlier as soon as it showed up, and Joey was trying to like introduce himself and make nice with the beast. I was like, oh my god, is this the friend?
It's a puppet dog.
Exactly, it's a giant, creepy, eldritch puppet dog, and like, even though the endings here sort of like leaves it up in the air as to the fate of the creature, like we don't see it after the crater, but I think it'd be really cute if Joey's new friend is this eldritch behemoth. Like,
that would be adorable.
I'm really excited for the next story to see if that comes to light or comes true.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. Yeah, that's my actual thoughts, guys. Mikey, D stands for evil.
Well,
I'm way too excited. I need to be torn down.
You all ready for this?
continuing with the monster.
Yes.
Yeah. I totally did not realize that it said wolf.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it doesn't. Okay, like it says wolf, but I don't think it's like it's a descriptor, not an actual like designation of what it is.
I'm gonna double check that.
I
I'm
so am
pretty
I.
sure it Wolf
Let me
made of death hounded over him.
yeah, that's to me that's metaphorical. That's not an actual wolf to me.
I don't know, man.
I mean, again, like it's at that point, that's poetry.
I'm just saying, personally, I saw it as not like a clear, like highly detailed wolf. I saw it as a wolf, like,
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a predatory. Well, yeah, it's being described as, because in the document, it's they never fully describe what kind of mammal it is, but it is described as a predatory mammal. So yeah, it could be a wolf, it could be a bear, it could be a boar, it could be all three. It could be man, bear, pig, for all I know.
It could be.
the truest of predatory mammals.
Yeah. So, yeah, in my head canon, it was a ghost dinosaur.
God damn it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I don't know if this is good or bad that we all saw this creature very differently. So I basically saw it as like, take the silhouette of a wolf, put like a really high like Gaussian blur from Photoshop on it, and then get the smudge tool and put random smudges on it to make it like not really 100% cohesive, and that's what it looks like.
To me, I think it is it is a good thing, because that is how you describe an indescribable entity that like
correct.
Exactly. Like it's like that's how you describe cosmic horror. It's like this. My mind can't comprehend what I'm seeing. Like I can. This is my best guess. This is my mind's best attempt to try, even though it's causing my brain to bleed, to describe it. Yeah.
Does it mention that's Eldritch-like?
It doesn't mention it's Eldritch-like. I just attribute that like Eldritch to this kind of descriptor.
Yeah.
But yes, sorry, Mikey, for interrupting.
That's what we do.
Sorry.
It's in my contract.
I am contractually obligated. Much like I am contractually obligated as a Canadian to apologize for everything I do.
Yeah, of course.
All right. And I also like the mention of the deer.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mention in the rundown. I was going to put it. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm sure somebody will comment about it.
Yeah,
I want to save some things.
Yeah. Here's the quote. He had seen a little horse with spikes growing out of its head, which was really metal.
Yep. What's funny is like a slight like nitpicky grabbing acquisition. I was like, wait, so are they metal spikes that are growing out? Is this like some kind of other SCP entity? I was like, oh no, he's describing a deer. Okay, and it's metal because it's got horns.
I like the continuation of it as well, where he tried to talk to it, but it ran away. Probably because an animal's spikes growing out of its head was way too awesome to hang out and talk with a guy like Joey. Joey understood. If Joey had spikes growing out of his head, he'd probably have a really different perspective on things.
And I'd be like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I agree with him. Deer are fucking metal.
Yes, I also like how that we get a little bit of like self-deprecating, like self-deprecation on Joey there, and it just helps because like that's early in the story, so we get to see like his like he's not believing in himself, not like kind of still down in the dumps about himself, about doing this whole trip and stuff like that, and then we get to the part like the end is like, no, fuck it, plus ultra, I do like how we get that again. We get like kind of a bit of character development throughout this story in different ways. But yes, the deer is metal as hell.
And it's already been touched on, but I also like the absurdity of the forest being carved.
Yeah. It's such a naive like way to say it. Like think about it, and it's like something we've come to expect and love about the zombies of Vulture Gulch.
It's a very like childlike view of things.
Yeah, a naivete. Yeah, because like they don't know any better, so they just like they come up with their own idea of how things got made.
And that's all I got.
All right. Gamer.
Alrighty then.
Tear me down. Do it. I'm here.
I will maybe. Once he released his somewhat terrified grip on the controls and all that stuff when he's flying and saying he's confident the autopilot's going to immediately work and all that. At that point, I'm like, wait, he actually made an autopilot for this fucking plane?
And then you read what the altimeter says.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But, like, he has a functional autopilot in it. This thing is getting less and less jank by the second.
It's literally an elastic band that holds the control in place.
Yep, that's what it is. You know that's what it is.
Yeah, or a bungee cord or something. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I just for anybody who's like again, you should read the story. But the altimeter reads only on the ground, really high up.
That's all you really need to know.
Yeah, really.
You know, something you would know just by the field of flying. You would know if you're on the ground or not.
I'm somewhere in between on the ground and really high up. You know, like somewhere like I'm getting closer to on the really high up. But it's like, oh, I'm getting close to on the ground. Better pull up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the two lights dim. They go brighter and darker. The closer he is to on the ground or really high up.
Yeah,
maybe there is a little bit of variance in there.
Yep.
Probably not.
I was thinking like there's some kind of like little like almost like a little like dial that's like going like up and down between the two lights.
Oh right, yeah, they're not lights. It's a dial. You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it lights?
Yeah, it might just literally just be post-it notes that say on the ground and really high up on either side of this like of a meter.
Yeah, it just says it's labeled with those only two things. Yes, it's not saying it's a light. Regardless. Moving on. Okay, so Joey lowered his goggles, bared his teeth, and growled in defiance. He stayed his course. He's still flying. And
yeah, so he's going up against the clouds. Sorry.
Yeah, and then in orange font it says, "I'm not gonna stop." And then it goes back to normal font. It says he braced for impact. Why was that line in orange? Previously, that was only for when like the boss was talking to him. We have entire paragraphs of Joey's thoughts, so this can't just be him thinking, can it?
Unless
this is the boss is like, I'm not going to stop pushing you to keep going.
That's my next line I have written down. Maybe this proves that he is the boss.
Yeah.
Because this is the boss.
Yeah. And it's the goggles. It's not a hat. It's the goggles.
That's
we're almost there.
We were so close. Oh.
That's not Joey. He has goggles on.
I know.
Joey wears his on his head, not over his eyes.
The boss wears goggles.
Everyone knows that. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, so we're leaning a little bit closer to like that. Just Joey is the boss, just with a secondary personality, or that the boss speaks through Joey specifically as like a secondary personality.
Yeah, maybe. It's hilarious though.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. And the picture of Joey's notes. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" I love seeing documentation like that. But I also suppose that means that the Foundation recovered this journal and like put it on the wiki, or like got the Dreamcast to take a photo of it after the fact.
The thing about this is not so like this is in tales and stories, not in the actual like official dossiers and stuff like that. So this is like anything can go when it comes to this.
Oh, okay. So this is just narrator having all the information.
Exactly. Yeah. This is just good formatting of a story to tell a narrative.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I completely agree. Also, yeah. What does that note say?
What? Oh, the picture or my note of the note?
The picture.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Sure.
Okay. Still not sure how clouds work. Not as mean as I thought. Also, maybe not real or made of. Not real stuff. Maybe just a trick. And then he has a diagram of me going into the cloud. Now inside cloud? Still flying. I guess it's not a trick. Are clouds being nice? Letting me go through? Did I scare them? Should I still be scared? Still kind of scared. Going to open the door and try to touch one. There's a break in the line down. Didn't work. Hand wet now. What are clouds?
I fucking love it so much. So I just needed to hear it again. Like,
Yeah, it is excellent.
Yep. Also, when you said me, it's not you. Like you're not drawn in there. It's a picture of an airplane with the word me in the drawing.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to be super critical there because like
No, he drew the gamer in yellow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he drew the gamer in yellow.
It's weird. I should have mentioned that actually.
Now I know what our title card's going to be if whenever I get around to doing it.
Gamer yellow in the cloud.
Yep.
Totally.
I'm just going to make it like it's going to be line paper, and we're just going to be drawn in like this style. Gamer in yellow in cloud. Review cultist. Mikey. The E stands for evil in question marks. Who are they?
Nice. You might have to take a note of that. That's pretty solid. This kind of ties into my grammar thing in regards to the transition between flying and not flying. Hours later, Joey's staring not at clouds but at a tree. He had only ever seen trees in pictures before. That's how he knew they were called trees. Joey was surrounded by them. There were so many that he could literally not count them. He tried for about 45 minutes, but he ran out of numbers, so he gave up. Simply stared at one, trying to figure out what it was made of. So at this point, I didn't realize he was on the ground because it didn't say that. So
Yep.
My note to this is just how isn't he flying? Either he's flying over a massive forest that took over 45 minutes of flight time to pass, or he landed and we weren't told.
Yeah.
Also, said he stared at one, and found out it was made of wood, so he couldn't form that up there. So bad segue. And then from I think actually did the correction.
Yeah, I think what we're getting at is that like it's a little janky that transition between the clouds and the trees.
Yes. And my next one is basically just like he's talking about it's made of wood, and just I love his ignorant mind. And I suppose the only way that they know of wood is what's in town, like chairs and displays and stuff like that. So
and buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, again, you gotta remember, like they're all from a desert. Like, when do they?
They never see trees.
Yeah.
He inspected them happily, appreciating the craftsmanship that had got into them. You couldn't even see the seams where they glued the branches on. I wish he broke a branch off so he could like see the sap coming out of it and come to the conclusion that's glue or something.
Yeah.
But that also wouldn't make sense because he didn't want them to be hurt, so he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a very gentle soul.
Mm-hmm. Just don't piss him off.
Yeah.
Like, don't seriously piss him off. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Don't try to kill him.
Yeah.
That's where he draws his line. Am I about to die? Okay, then I'll fight back. He decided
I'm about to die? All right, better go into Super Saiyan form.
So the next one. He decided to name this place Treeland. He figured that made the most sense. Trees seem to be the main thing around here. And it felt good to honor whoever had worked so hard to make them all. He wondered where they were now. Like he'd like to shake their hand and thank them for their beautiful work. The next story is called Joey Fucknuts Makes a New Friend. So is that friend going to be God? Because that's who made the trees.
Also, what's funny? It's like based on that whole dialogue there. It's like his speculation. Joey Fucknuts discovers religion.
Wow.
Yep.
Then we move on a bit. I've chimed in on a couple of things, and then he fights the beast, and he's dying on the ground, and saying that he's giving up, and all that. And it seems like he's like literally dying.
Yeah.
And my note to that is just like, if you stop here and kill Joey, don't you fucking do it. I know there's another story, but that story could be like in the afterlife for all I know. Don't fucking do it.
I'm just like, I will never forgive you if Joey dies here.
Yeah. He hasn't done a damn thing yet.
Oh god, it's so true though. It's just like, and then like I just love the like, it's almost triumphant. It's just like they would never live in the sunlight and become who they really were truly, or who they were truly meant to be. No, Heavy footsteps came coming closer. Hungry death came on legs of shadow. No. Joey stirred. He writhed as he writhed as a fresh wave of hateful pain coursed through his body. No! A hot wind blew over him from the lungs of a cruel force. No! And then like it goes into the full on like plus ultra like anime action scene where he like goes Super Saiyan and just punches the guy into the sky.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like that's such a triumphant like return to greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love to see it. even in a horror based storyline, I love to see it. Because this is basically a kaiju fight to a degree.
Pretty much, yeah. Like a low scale kaiju fight, at least on one side.
Street level kaiju fight.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like street level Cthulhu investigation.
Mm-hmm. That's a good segue into because my next one is about him going Super Saiyan and all that. I like how he was saying where it was like liquid fire flowing through his wounds. I assume that was a metaphor because like his blood is boiling with rage. But by the time his arms caught fire and literally cast light in the darkness, no, I think he was literally bleeding fire.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
His body became a seething pyre, throwing wild shadows throughout the glade and casting everything around in a warm glow. That means it's light. There's light and heat being produced.
Yeah, that's the point where I'm like, oh, he's literally on fire. He's not just on fire metaphorically.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not. His soul isn't. His soul is both metaphysically and physically ignited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically just him activating his elemental strike from his adept tree because it's a Shadowrun now.
Yeah, actually, this is this your last actual thought?
Yeah.
Great segue then, because we're just gonna do a quick kitchen segment on this story. So I'm just gonna quickly go into my Discord chat or my personal DMs that the gamer gave me the other day after he had finished reading the story. Yeah, here it is. Finished reading this week's ADR. Urged to change my Shadowrun character into a ghoul adept with fire elemental strike with high amounts of amnesia. To which I commented, "Fuck, you're right. He's basically a Shadowrun character."
He straight up is at this point.
Yeah, he's a fucking like physical adept ghoul, which you can totally make in Shadowrun using the Runner's Companion and the core and maybe Street Magic in the core book.
Mm-hmm. And you have skills in like mechanics and
oh god. And so like also his because ghouls in Shadowrun are blind. What if his goggles are like detachable cyber eyes?
Ooh.
So like when he needs to see fully like with all his senses and stuff like that, he puts on the cyber eye goggles.
Nice. That's when he goes boss mode.
Exactly, yeah. Also, yeah, like that weapon, like the weapon he has, like the giant axe flamethrower, you can make that in Shadowrun.
Oh, yeah, you can make pretty much anything in Shadowrun.
Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah, like, oh god, like 100%. Like this is a Shadowrun game. Like he burns. What happened at the end? Like his character was horribly beaten down to his full like 10 condition modifier or condition monitor. And then to not die, he burned an edge.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
To literally become and then like to amp up himself to have a second wind, basically there. Oh, it's just so good. I fucking love it. Yeah, no, like it's not a terribly long kitchen segment, but yeah, like 100%, like this, you could do this in Shadowrun. One day I might have to run a Shadowrun campaign where you guys are just playing ghouls in a desert in a desert town.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like maybe we won't run it. It won't be in Shadowrun the setting, but it'll be using the system, and we'll do a like a potential like a plot line where like the apocalypse, like they some of the ghouls are getting like messages to start the apocalypse or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, we're already working. I mean, spoilers for our sister podcast. We're already doing a non-Shadowrun campaigns that's very relatively creepypasta-esque. So,
Add to the list. We'll get to it eventually.
yes, exactly.
That's it for my list.
Yeah. All right. So I guess on to final thoughts. To which I have to say, all right, real talk. Al dente, real talk. Wait, nope, sorry, wrong show. This isn't a film. Plug. Just got to plug the Patreon special episodes that we do sometimes.
It almost is a film at points, though.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, like actually using the real talk as in like like real talk. If you still aren't reading this story after we've gotten through this, why not? Like, leave a comment in the comment section below. I want to know why you're not reading these stories that we've been like talking about. Like, I honestly think you should. I recommend it. I don't like. Done. I love it. I love Joey. I wish we were friends. I look forward to the next story. I look forward to. I'm just sad that the next story is the last story.
For now.
For now, yeah, that's true. Like the last one was made in 2019, and the last time any of their stuff was edited was 2021. So we might get. We'll have to see what happens at the end of the last story. Joey Fucknuts makes a friend.
We'll see how final it is.
Yeah, but yeah, no, 100% recommend this story. Joey Fucknuts believes in himself. I recommend all the previous Joey Fucknuts stories. I recommend SCP-3885. I recommend CadaverCommander stuff because they have made great work. They're doing good work here.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not say that because I'm contaminated by some kind of memetic virus. Not at all.
No, why would you? Why would you even say that?
I don't know. Yeah, my final thoughts. Done. Mic drop. You're up next, Mikey.
All right. So, like the deer, the metal.
He's the true hero of the story.
Yes.
I liked the ghost dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's totally what it was.
Yep.
So it can be whatever you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Liked the absurdity of the crafted forest.
Yep.
So, overall, I have to give this a recommendation. And did Joey Steelwings use up all his energy at the end and die? Did Joey Steelwings defeat the monster? Find out next week when Joey makes a new friend.
Also known as Joey Fucknuts Z.
Fucknuts Z.
Yeah. Fucknuts Z. God. Oh, shit beans. All right. Gamer, you're up with your verdict.
I mean, I'm probably just gonna be parroting you guys because yeah, it was fun. That one transition really bothered me because that's like one of my pet peeves with this shit.
It bothered you to the point where you infiltrated my grammar inquisition. You mentioned it in your grammar inquisition, and then you still mentioned it again in your actual thought.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
So that really bothered me.
Not shaming you on it. Like it is an issue that even I had, but like, yeah, it's just funny that you just kept going on it, hounding it.
Yeah, I know. I really should have stopped from the first one. But regardless,
no, it's fine. Yeah.
That is just like a problem I have where like if the whole story is having a nice flow and it's just going from scene to scene to scene, and then it just jumps ahead for no reason and then flashes back to where you missed. It's like, why didn't you just keep the flow going,
Yeah.
To mention it again in my final thoughts.
Well, of course, we gotta keep your integrity here.
Exactly, yeah. That being said, it didn't ruin the story for me. I did not enjoy him almost dying and like having to read him slowly dying and me thinking like he might actually die here. I'm gonna be real sad in a moment. And the tissue's ready.
It did invoke an emotion, like a genuine emotional response. It's like, oh no,
yeah.
Oh no,
which is a sign of good writing.
Yeah,
I cared.
And then it went from oh no, oh yeah, oh yeah,
oh yeah,
punch that, oh yeah, punch that monster in the snout. And then
punch!
the DBZ like explosion and crater that was left.
Yeah, straight up.
Oh my
First,
god!
he didn't like punch it, and then like broke through a bunch of trees and like landed into a mountain and made a huge hole in the mountain.
Yeah, like one punch.
Yeah.
Like we here at Al Dente Rigor Mortis, we tackle horror stories. This is definitely not quite a horror story, but it is still a monster story. So I'm going to qualify it for the show, regardless.
Yeah.
And if anybody has a problem with that, well, you can just fuck my nuts.
Jeez.
Oh,
Wait,
God.
what is it? It's not horror substance. It's horror.
It's definitely horror style, like
Style,
like
that's the other
kaiju,
word, yeah.
like kaiju monsters and like monster movies, and like we're definitely, this is a story about monsters like living their life or living their life and experiencing things. Like that's what this is, and so that's more of the style of a horror, but not the substance of horror. But that's still horror. So if you got a problem with that, well, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry,
You're wrong. Wrong, and I hate you.
Yeah, you're wrong, and I hate you. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's like one of your favorite quotes to bring up. But yeah, in regards to him just having fire powers all of a sudden, I don't know how to feel about it, because it was very street level until this point. Like, yes, they're reanimated dead, but they're just like making vehicles and fucking around, and then all of a sudden superpowers are showing up. So I don't know how I feel about it.
I think the takeaway here is the limitation.
He learns how to use it while he's at full strength. He may be able to just summon it when he needs.
And if that's the case, that's still horror, because that's what they're capable of. Yeah, sorry, if they weren't nice, if they were evil, that's what they were capable, or if they were being used as a sinister force. The SCP Foundation.
Regardless, I recommend this one. Made me feel things. I was sad. The deer was cool. It was pretty good.
All right. Yeah, so go read the story. Seriously, what's wrong with people? Hopefully. I pray every time that maybe that is the case.
We tried to do it justice, but regardless, reading the whole thing word for word is way better than any sort of rundown can give.
Yeah, we do a rundown so that we can give you like a taste, like a tease, and then you can go and read it yourself. So, but yeah, anyway, we're kind of winding down here, like full recommendations across the board. Yes, it has a few problems, but they do not. They pale in comparison to the rest of the story. So, so if you like what you heard, if you didn't, leave a comment in the comment section below. This gets posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. You can also send us messages on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W because his name is very long.
It's got to be though.
For the glory of Joey Fucknuts.
Sure.
Or as we like to say,
a long name.
For the glory of the boss. And I'm at Review Cultist. If you'd like to send us emails, you can go to aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, SCP stories, cryptids, whatnot, scary things. We'll take them in. We'll talk about them. We'll discuss them. We'll even read them. I don't know.
We'll do all that without reading them.
Yeah. We'll
just read the title and make an assumption what the story's based on.
Oh my god! That I kind of want to do that as a special or something like that sometime. Just
we should do that at some point.
That should be our April Fool's episode in one of the next couple of years. It's just like, because it's like, and welcome to Assumptions Rigor Mortis, where we make the ass out of you and me.
Yeah. And get some title that's like really ridiculous, that it has a lot of fodder just in the title itself.
Yeah, so we just go to Reddit No Sleep and just grab one of the sentence titles.
Get the longest title possible.
Oh man, somebody please go if you're listening to us right now, if you have the gumption and the desire to help us out with that, go forth and hunt down the longest titled creepypasta or SCP or Reddit No Sleep story, and send us a link through the email, and I will leave it there for a special episode.
It's got to be like a paragraph.
Yeah. It's got to be a whole paragraph long. Oh my god!
It's got to be like a jokey one, right? There's no serious one that's long as that.
You say that, but a lot of Reddit No Sleep stories that take themselves very seriously have those ridiculous, like, tropey titles. So But
We
yeah,
shall see.
go forth, my listeners. Fly, my pretties, fly. Yeah, so if you'd like to help support the show financially, you can go to Patreon. Look up Al Dente Rigor Mortis and select the package you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content, such as Assumptions Rigor Mortis coming soon.
Apparently, that's the thing now.
We'll see. We'll do a test run on the main feed, and then like if we get like a lot of reception, we'll bump it up to an actual an actual spin-off series.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I didn't realize that we were starting Anime Rigor Mortis a few weeks early. So yeah,
Really.
spoilers and teaser for most of the month of May of anime. We're going to be doing Anime Rigor Mortis, where I'm going to have a couple of guest hosts on to talk about animes and anime films and how you can pull horror from them. So look forward to that, audience. And yeah, like I said, if you like, you can go to Patreon and support us there. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and as always, I very much appreciate it. We all very much appreciate it.
It's not just you.
Yeah, no.
We all appreciate it.
Yeah. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, CadaverCommander, I salute you once more. Thank you immensely, because, well, without your listenership, it would be like speaking into the void. And without your authorship, without these stories, we wouldn't have anything to read and discuss and talk about every week. And I very much appreciate that every week. So thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.